They put them in your packet.
All right.
How about y'all pay them?
Charles not coming in on.
No,
So
sir.
they do,
It's in,
the chamber.
Okay.
Oh.
We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order.
They pay their own.
I've asked Councilman Gantier to lead us in prayer and pledge. Please stand.
let's pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, I pray you give us wisdom as we look at the affairs of the city and give us guidance that we might make wise choices and wise decisions. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Do roll call.
Terry Lamar,
Here.
Troy Shropshire,
Here.
Lori Bradshaw,
Here.
Kenneth Brashears,
Here.
Tyler Brown,
Here.
Charles Trammell, Chris Gantier,
Here.
Bruce Smith.
Here.
I don't have any petitions from the audience at this time, so we will go on into our department head reports. I have a report from the building inspector. Since Craig and I did 41 paid inspections for August, additional 28 inspections with contractors, James Cody with MUB, or about addressing issues that came up in the community, worked with Trent Humphreys on issues that he had on houses for abatement process, reviewed several plans for new homes, had several homeowners and contractors calling or came into the office needing information about codes, additions, zoning, or services. Okay. Johnny? Emergency management.
I don't really have a lot to report. Pretty much all the last few weeks we've been doing is working on emergency plans for all the events that we've had this coming up this month in September. Born and raised, Rocklahoma, the Chili Festival, the county fair, so on and so on.
Damn,
So
damn.
anyway, that's pretty much what we've been doing. We did get the siren that was having some issues out at Walmart fixed, so it's good and ready to go.
All right. Thank you. Chief Young, fire.
Well, Johnny stole my lines. I'm gonna say the same thing, it's just September, so it's busy for us. We got through Rocklahoma, so now we're working on our other stuff, the fair and chili stuff, and then born and raised next weekend, so that's all we're doing, just getting through this month. Y'all have anything for us?
All right. Thank you.
Sir?
Bowman had an illness. I had to take his wife to the hospital tonight for something, and it lasted longer than he thought. So he sent me a report. Says the golf course has enjoyed another record month with paid rounds being up by 200 and also receiving record revenue for August. Upcoming events for September are as follows. September 7th, the Noonan Muskogee Group. September 14th, Danny Henson VFW Memorial Tournament. September 17th, Gold Bond Company outing. September 20th, Williams United Way Tournament. 21st, Tulsa Southsiders. 27th of September is the Ray Corporation Annual Tournament. September is going to be a very busy month. On August 17th, hosted the Tulsa Wendelson Group with 104 players. That's huge. They had a great time and plan on returning next year. Last week, he met with the assistant engineer on the cart paths. Hopefully, won't be long until he has bids out. Spoke with Casey Cowan of Elite Fabricators, and bridges are coming along. They are working on the bridges in between ongoing projects. Okay. Library, Carrie?
I was at home with a sick kid today, so you get a very abbreviated report. I didn't have access to all my normal stuff. And I'm not even sure if all of our stats are entered from August, so these numbers may increase. Our questions answered for August were 10,472. Our meeting room usage, 411. That includes 398 uses of the study rooms. So our 4 study rooms, we do tick marks when people use them, so as they change out throughout the day. If we could go back and build more study rooms, I think they would be used just as much. And our door count for August was 3,273, which averages to about 121 every day we were open. Story time starts again tomorrow. It'll be at 10:30. We are going to poll our participants in story time to see if a later start is more convenient, especially if we have to reduce our hours. Thunderbird is back at the library, so when we have our library card numbers, that number will be pretty high because we get all of them a library card. It's also our favorite day. There's nothing quite like the mad rush of 30 cadets at a time or more, sometimes it's 45, who all need to check out 2 books. And none of them really like to read, so, but they are required. So it's all hands on deck. It's really fun. We get to use all of our library skills, and yeah, they're just good. They're good kids anyway. And then we are also, speaking of library card numbers, we're also working with some of the elementary schools to get digital cards for their students so that they can access our Libby and Overdrive and all of our other online databases through their Chromebooks. Do you guys have questions for me?
Thank you.
What day did you say the Thunderbird comes in?
It depends. They come about once a month on a Tuesday or a Thursday. All right, thanks.
Frank Powell, Parks and Cemetery.
I don't actually have much. This past month's been kind of boring, just doing the regular mowing maintenance of nothing spectacular or new projects. And unless y'all got questions, like I said, we just, not much going on.
I do. Somewhere I read recently that there's gonna be a phase 2, or a proposed phase 2 to the skate park project, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that in your budget requests for this year for capital improvements to do it this year?
Yes,
You know the estimated cost of it?
it's like 49, right at 50,000.
Okay.
That was kind of, last time it includes everything.
And how is it going out at the cemetery with the reduction in force out there?
We're managing, like I said, they're able to keep everything mowed and like I said, we haven't been hit with a swarm of funerals or anything, and luckily it's been relatively slow. And like I said, between me or my assistant, go out there and follow up with paperwork. But yeah, it's so that's what I was saying. Right now, nothing. Everybody's just kind of staying busy. Nothing spectacular. But yeah, we're doing okay so far.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, can't say we're not getting behind a little bit on certain things, but I mean, it's just going to happen.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Police and Animal Shelter. Chief Kentrell.
August, you can see the stats was up. A lot of that was Rocklahoma, as far as traffic goes, because it started on Thursday. 735 traffic stops and then 160 or 57 citations. Obviously, the break-ins are still happening. The Okie Dokie break-in, we were able to get a suspect on that out of Tulsa. Tulsa picked them up on charges. We're filing charges. They've had charges out of several different places for the same kind of deal. So that one, the school started back, so we're hooked up on schools, and then this week's gonna be the Bluegrass Festival, and then we got Born and Raised. So kind of like everybody else, we're hooked up on those kind of things. Staying busy than our typical calls that we have. Is there any questions for me?
Just a question for clarification. That open door, does that mean doors you found open, or you had to help somebody to open?
It could be an open door call on a house or whatever somebody call it. And I don't know what
Okay.
that specifically is.
I didn't know if that was helping somebody open a car door or
No,
what that was. Okay.
Anybody else?
I think that's under vehicle unlocks, right?
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
a car.
Oh, there it is, vehicle unlocked. Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, Mr. Moore, Rec Center.
Animal shelter?
Oh, Becky, did you have anything for the animal shelter?
I forgot the shelter. Sorry. It's been a long week. I'll let you tell me. You know the numbers. You hand them to me.
It's like, okay. Our total intake was 45, 28 dogs, 17 cats. Adoptions, we had 41. Right now, the officers and FOP raised enough money to do some free adoptions, so hoping that goes really well.
When does that end?
the September 10th. That'll be over. So we've had 18 dogs and 23 cats.
That's what you have right now.
That's how many adoptions we had for August. So only one cat that was injured had to be euthanized, so that's good.
How many, do you know how many we have in right now?
Right now, that's a hard number since we brought in 6 today. But I have to do some math.
It's a revolving door. Just, you get them out and they come back in.
I think we have 2 empty kennels, so.
Hopefully people come adopt.
And then the sheriff's office had
Oh, yeah,
an
we
animal
did.
cruelty case. They arrested the guy on last night, and they have nowhere to put animals, so they called us and took
That was
3 animals in
three
for
of-
that,
three
because
of
it's
them.
a criminal case.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Questions? Good, all right.
All right, Mike, Rec Center?
All right, good evening. So we've made it through the summer in pretty good shape in terms of HVAC units. None went down, so that's good. Yeah, knock on wood, probably shouldn't have said that out loud. The big one's scheduled to be delivered around the 15th of the month, this month, and so barring incident, they'll take it right off the truck. They won't set it and leave it. They'll take it right off the delivery truck, so we'll coordinate that at the end of the month and hopefully get that installed. So that'll be a big thing. We still owe $100,000 on it, so we got a little work to do there, but we prepared for it. We had 132 new members last month, 51 new Cherokee memberships. We have a total of 529 this last month. We had 657 people sign up for the walking track with it, so our total membership was 1,854, which is down 2.3% over the previous month. So not where we want to be, but there's always seems like some ebbs and flows. And I look back, and some of our categories were up actually over a year ago this time. So we'll monitor that. On the aquatic side, we finished our swim lessons for the summer, 87 of them. That converted to $5,665 worth of revenue, so that's nice. We had 12 public pool parties and 4 private last month. And as I think I mentioned earlier, last time around, we've added Wednesday as another family swim day, and I see we've got a little bit of traffic on that, so that's good. And then with school going on, we've got several other groups coming on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, so we're pretty busy in the pool area. On the fitness side of things, Jess is getting the challenges cranked up, and then she's also, if you watched our Facebook page at all, she's starting to do a little more, create a little more media presence, and she's doing some bios on our instructors and our staff. So she's kicking a couple of those out every week or so right now, and she's doing a real nice job. They look really nice and professionally done. We got 2 challenges. We have the 9/11 Stair Climb Challenge we had last year in memory of the firefighters at 9/11. We've got a fall into fitness challenge that started and lasts until 11 to 1, just challenging people to get fit and get into classes. And then the week of 9/23 is Falls Prevention Week, and all of our instructors in the fitness classes will be doing some emphasis on fall prevention. Pickleball's going strong. We had 41 one day last week, so that's kind of a record for us. We're trying to focus a little bit on rental revenue. Our most notable and new is we're going to be hosting the Pryor Youth Cheer, that Liberty group that came here a few months back that's real successful. So we're in the works of putting an agreement together for them to use our facility and be their home. So we're looking forward to that. That'll be some nice revenue for us. And then the high school, I think I mentioned earlier, the PE classes are going to be using our gymnasium because theirs is under construction, so that'll be another new revenue stream for this year. And we don't know exactly what that is yet. They're still kind of trying to decide how they're going to do their class, because on the nice days they're staying out, but at some point they'll have to come inside. And last year we had 3 volleyball groups that used our facility through the winter, so we're pushing that. That's really about it, the highlights for now. So has anybody got any questions? All right, good deal, thanks.
Buddy Glenn, streets?
Well, I was gonna say that BK took my line that I was gonna use, but we're still just pegging along. We got another pour Thursday over off of, Ridgeview Court, and then we should have that area, that cul-de-sac done. We've done some more work out on 49th Street. We've had some saw and dig outs out there for asphalt. Put that in, cause that's, and it's kinda good, that's where all the big heavier trucks and stuff is going. They're staying off of 9th Street where they're not tearing that one up as much. We had one there at 9th and Dog Pound, we had to go put some asphalt in. We've been putting a little extra work on the weed eating and spraying around town, trying to make sure all the little weeds and grass and everything, getting ready for the chili festival, the Bluegrass Chili Festival this weekend coming up. So we've been doing a little extra work on that, trying to get some of the drainages mowed. We still got a couple more that we got to do, but other than that, then probably Thursday and Friday we'll be setting out barricades, and then Friday we'll probably just be around the shop in case anybody needs anything, that we're going to be there, so we're not out. Actually, we're going to be working, but since this is our first time that we're doing this type of thing, a downtown area, that way there, my guys will be available. So if somebody needs barricades or cones or whatever it is, that my guys will be ready for them to get this. So we'll kind of have a better idea of, if we do this again next year, what's going on. So other than that, it's about the same. Any questions? And again, if you got anything, email me or text me or whatever. That helps me because I'm getting to the age I can't remember stuff. So that's good though. Thank you,
buddy. I just want to say, while I got you up here, and Frank and Dennis Bowman, as we get into this is the first year we've done this Bluegrass Festival. A lot of behind-the-scenes work has gone into preparation for various places throughout the town, whether it's mowing or filling in potholes or preparing sidewalk, whatever we've got. Bub has added, power sources through town, helping make things possible. It's truly a labor of love that has come from our EDTA, from Main Street, from you guys, you department heads, everybody pitching in to help make this possible. So I want to make sure that you guys get the recognition you and your teams rightfully deserve for the behind-the-scenes work that has gone into helping us get this ready. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Courtney, do you have anything?
Yeah, the most exciting one is our server got delivered today, and I don't think I've ever been more excited about a box in my entire life. But Fit's going to hopefully be up tomorrow to get that taken care of so they can get all the updates on it and get it installed and ready to go pretty soon. We've had a lot more issues with Cassell lately. Our court management software is virtually not working, so we're doing everything on spreadsheets. So I just kind of wanted to give a shout out to Taylor, who's been taking all of that over because she's put in some work with it. And it's not very easy right now. It's been such a challenge, but she's doing great with it, especially after Jeremy's officers wrote 116 something around there, tickets over the weekend. She's been having fun with that. We've done a lot of work with the festivals, getting everything ready, especially the Bluegrass and Chili Festival.
Sorry, I meant to add you to that list.
It's okay, you forget about me all the time.
Absolutely.
And then I worked on the budget, obviously.
And Chase. Chase has been helping too. Sorry. All right.
Anyway, that's all.
Yes. Yeah, we don't want to leave anybody out. I apologize, but really, good job to everybody. Everybody's worked hard this month. All right. Consent agenda. Are there any items that you guys would like to have pulled?
Just letter S.
Yes? Okay. I'm going to pull letter L.
Q.
Q? Okay.
I don't think Joy was here for B, so I think we need to pull it.
Were you here for
Yeah.
Okay. So we have B, L, Q, and S. Okay, do I have a motion to approve all of the remaining?
So moved.
Okay, I've got a motion from Brashear and a second from Gantier.
Is that backwards, or did I just
It was
not
kind
hear
of
for
a-
sheer?
It doesn't matter. Just
Sorry,
pick
I
it.
heard it in
Pick it and
stereo,
go.
so. I heard a so move and a so move at the same
Well,
time.
my minutes matter, so I have to have it clarified. Okay,
All right, call for the vote. when ready.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Brashears,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Item
B.
B, sorry, trying to look at all of those that were circled. Item B, approve minutes of the August 13th, 2024 special council meeting. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
A motion from Choya,
Second.
a second from Brown. Discussion? Call for the vote.
Shropshire,
Abstain.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar.
Yes.
I'm gonna come back, Terry, if you don't mind, if you'll do letter L when we're done. We'll go down to letter Q. Approve promotion of Pryor Creek Police Officer Bobby Ray Shatswell from patrolman, range J, step 2 to corporal, range K, step 2.
Motion.
The motion from
Second.
Brown,
I'll second.
second from Bashir.
I was gonna explain this one. So when Ashton Gann left for the troop, that vacated a corporal position, which by contract, if there's a corporal position open and a patrolman's filling in for that, the senior patrolman gets corporal pay. So it made sense to promote somebody. We did a process. Chatswell's been here for a couple years, but he's been in law enforcement for 10 years. He has some administrative experience, so he was the one that overall, everybody kind of agreed that he was the one to be promoted, and so that's what we're here for.
Could you kind of explain, just for clarification, transparent, how that process works?
So the way we've done it, there's no written rule of how we do it, but in the past, before I took over, it was basically like you got promoted. So we changed it this time. I had the sergeants on a panel. The ones that applied for it went before the sergeants. Then they came to me, talked about it. I also spoke to the other corporals, and that's kind of how we come to our decision. So it was kind of a, fill everybody out, see who else did. And there were several good ones in that group, several officers that were deserving of it. Unfortunately, we can only promote one. So.
I just think it's important for us to recognize any employee that we ever want to promote. We should praise in public as much as we can, so congratulations.
Thanks, sir. You're doing a great job.
And on the promotion,
Cleaned up, man. Really,
It's-
I tried.
to step up from patrolman to corporal is not a huge step in pay. I mean, it's $1,400 a year, so it's not a huge bump. So for somebody to step up and do that, I appreciate all the guys that, applied for it and were willing to take that step, to further their career.
I think I told you that when you called. I don't know why anybody would promote for $1,400 a year, but
Correct.
thank you for doing that.
Yes, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
All right, further discussion? If none, call for the vote.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Congratulations.
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 All right, item S, approve accepting a bid in the amount of $50,784 state contract price from Vance Chevrolet Buick and GMC of Miami for a 2025 Chevy 2500 crew cab to replace a truck damaged in a storm, to be paid from street capital outlay 14145-4511. Other bids received, Confidence Chevrolet in the amount of $53,774 and Pryor Chevy GMC in the amount of $55,500.
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion from Brashears and a second from Lamar. Discussion?
This is the one that got, the tree limb in it after the tornado, or during the tornado, I guess you might say.
It's straight up top of the cab of that truck. I
Yeah.
mean, just right down the middle. And I think what was more impressive, buddy, you wanna come on up for a minute? You wanna explain to us how we got that truck from where it was to this?
Well, we had to go pick it up and haul it back in. It was totally, top of it was totally mashed. And, of course, we all know all the tornadoes went through there. Mine, like I said, mine was there, but I had very little damage on mine, so. But his, like I said, where it went through, it dropped those limbs, and I guess we could have made a convertible out of it, or got one of them tractor things, put it on there like, but no, it was just, and plus it was one of our older trucks that we need to get rid of. But the insurance they paid off, I think it was $7,500 or something like that for.
One was 7-ish thousand, one was like 9, but I don't remember which one.
Yeah, one of those, but we're put that money on go towards the truck, so that was part of it, so.
One other thing though, we might need it's supposed to be 5411, not 4511.
Oh,
That
thank you.
account number.
Scrivener's error.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't even read the 54, yeah.
Yeah.
Parts out of 5411,
Covered that in
then,
our street meeting, didn't we?
Yes, and this does come from a recommendation from the street committee, and as Buddy said, the price is gonna come down around $7,000 because we're getting reimbursed from the insurance, and that will be deposited back into his account to help offset the cost of that vehicle. And it is the state contract price that we're getting it for.
Will you guys amend your motion to recognize the scrivener's error in that?
Yeah.
Certainly.
Thank you.
I'm guessing that truck probably was gonna be on the list to be replaced in the coming years anyway.
yeah, it sounds bad, but I don't know if it's just for my own self or whatever, but there's a lot of times, I mean, if it's not broke, you know, not get rid of it, but I mean, we may have to look in the future with some of these vehicles to maybe start trading them in a little bit earlier.
What was the make and model, or what was the make and model, the one that got damaged?
That was, it was a Ford F-250, I think it was a 98 model.
Okay.
Last century?
Yeah, I mean, that's, so, yeah, I mean, but I mean, like I said, if everything is running right, I mean, the maintenance guy we got down there, Michael, I mean, he keeps everything up, you know, tip-top shape, the best that he can do on everything, and, but it just got, like I said, it was the next truck that we was gonna have to replace, so it was getting bad. So.
And, and also just because it is $50,000 that's being spent out of it, what is this particular truck being used for? As in its necessity?
Well,
Just so it's publicly.
yeah, Bobby, but I mean, he goes around, helps the crews and stuff. Once we get jobs out, if they need help, a lot of times, then he'll use that truck to go, to drive around, help do the crews, stuff like that.
All equipment.
Yeah.
Full trailer.
Yeah, that's why we got 3/4 tons, so we can pull skid steers and stuff like that with it.
So somebody asked, why couldn't you just buy a Colorado or a 1500? That's all.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, because if we need to pull skid steer or something like that, I'd like to have a bigger motor. I mean,
Yeah.
for us that there. Even like with mine, I mean, it's not the biggest motor. That's about, when we got this, mine is a 2010, and but it's like I said, I've used it to pull skid steers if they need to, or
You'll pull the guts out of a half-ton.
Oh,
yeah.
I noticed in here on this proposed budget line item that 100,000, is that the right one, what they're planning for this particular one, so that's gonna.
Yeah, it's going. Yeah, we budgeted 100,000 because I got a set of tracks, 2 sets of tracks coming out of that. That was for the pickup for the 2 sets of tracks, and I've already got 1 set of tracks on that. I've spent, I think it was $6,200 for that one, and this one we're getting another set of tracks on that excavator. But while we're taking it over there, it's got an oil leak on it. But you have to actually break it in half to fix it because it's on the spinner coil. I'm not sure, they got a big long word for it. But it was for that, and then there was one other thing I'd have to go back and look, see what we put it in there for, but I got with the mayor on those things. But that's what that's for, mainly is for the tracks and for the pickup, because we didn't know what they was gonna cost this year.
So that's pretty well gonna put a big dent in that line item.
Yeah, well, but like I said, that's all, it's just for equipment, stuff like that. It's the only reason I put that back. And we put, money back for the sweeper this year. And hopefully, like I said, then by the time this next year comes around, we can start looking at the prices. Depending on the prices, we may have to go back one more, set it back for a couple of years. It just depends. So.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing further. Call for the vote.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
All right. Terry, if you'll take letter L and we'll step out.
Okay, item L is to approve the hotel motel grant final expense report from Oklahoma Freedom Flight for Extravasalamza 3 that was held on July 27th of 2024 in the amount of $5,000.
So move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Gantier and a second by Shropshire. Any questions? Seeing that there are no questions, call for the vote.
Brown,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor's report.
Alright. Item A, we just wanted to announce, let everybody know that the summer publication of the Kauai report is available now. There'll be some copies printed at the library. We have copies here. If you'd like that, we'll also make it available online. For those that don't remember, the Kauai report is just a communication tool from the various departments throughout the city, communicating what they've done in the last half year. We probably put this out again as we get to the end of our calendar year, and then again at the end of the fiscal year that we're currently in. So as of right now, the intention is to provide that twice a year for information purposes, to give some stats and some direction, along with some full color pictures as to what's been going on in the community. I want to let everybody know Jay has worked tremendously hard on that and put a lot of time and effort into collecting and pretty much editing all that information that's given. So if you're interested in that, let us know. We'll get you a copy of it. Or like I said, there'll be copies available at the library. All right? Any questions?
How much money do we spend on that?
Not really a whole lot. We printed off a lot of copies the first time we did it. I think we printed off 50 copies. We realized that was way more than we needed of hard copies, so we did 10 copies bound. By bound, I mean with a little ring. We did that at, Mr. Harrison did that for us downtown. And so any other copies that are wanted, we'll just do color copies and provide that. It's minimal. Minimal, maybe a couple $100 tops, less whatever payroll time she puts into just collecting the information from the department heads. Does that work? Okay. All right, item B, discussion and possible action regarding the street budget, Fund 14, for the 24-25 fiscal year.
Motion.
I have a motion from Choya and a second from Brashear. Discussion?
Yeah, I want to make a quick comment. Really, I know we've had this since Friday. Of course, with the holidays, I've gone through it, looked at it. I have a few questions that I'd like to, and this applies to all of them. Just follow-up due diligence type questions. So I'm hoping, we can look at them, discuss them, and then maybe, since we don't have to have them approved right away, maybe next time approve them. I just want to voice that, because there's a few questions on.
Is Buddy still here for questions for his budget?
And some of them may be Jeff questions, but it's not, like I said, it's just clarification.
Let's ask, what do we got?
No, it's just in general, different things, and some of it, I just wanted to, double check the amount of increases on some of these and making sure they are consistent with our tax base that's coming in and things of that, just general things. So specific, it'd be kind of hard to nail them down today, now, but that's just me.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not noticing any huge problems or anything, it's just due diligence questions that I wanted to ask.
What are they?
That would be some questions I need to ask Jeff
Oh,
and stuff, so it's like a few of them, and a couple of them I want to just run by some of the department heads, so.
Any other comments or questions?
None of, I'll probably ask this for each one, but none of what comes out of here comes from the general fund.
Correct.
And nothing from here could be diverted to the general fund either, correct?
Right.
Correct.
I believe we've diverted as much as we possibly could.
Okay.
But just to note, the budget from last fiscal year, it's almost the same. There's a difference of a little bit. But this one came in the expenditures item, if I'm reading it right. It was about, well, basically it came in under, well under what, about 90% of the budget?
Well,
So
these don't apply to the 90% rule, so only the general fund.
Well, I know that I was just
He's
saying.
talking about 90% of what they spent last year, it's under budget.
Yeah, basically,
Under budget.
it went under budget, as in it was good, not,
Gotcha.
I think we had, what, a 7% increase in, is that right, in sales tax revenue? Over the year? To reflect, you know, the increase in the amount that's budgeted. Although this one's not very much, but in some of the other, is that correct?
I don't know that I understand what you're asking or saying.
What was the sales tax difference from 23, 24, well, 22, 23 to 23,
Do you know
24?
that difference?
We haven't changed any percentage that's been allocated to the street
No,
department.
no, no,
in the
no.
last few years.
No,
How much did our revenues grow last year?
I don't know that answer off the top of my head.
I can get you that answer, Chris.
Yeah, and like I said, that's some of the little general routine, just making sure we're staying on track stuff, due diligence questions that I was talking about. That's just one of the examples.
Was that accurate? You were wanting the revenue increase?
Yeah, I
Year to
want to
year.
know that, and, you know, just make sure we're staying on course, that's all. Just due diligence.
I will get that
Well,
for you.
It was kind of hard to do with the holiday week and stuff.
Mr. Mayor, I call for the vote.
Thank you. All right.
Gantier,
Abstain.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Review item C, discussion and possible action regarding cemetery care fund budget, Fund 19 for the 24-25 fiscal year. Do you have a
Motion.
Motion from Brashear,
Second.
second from Lamar. Questions?
Nothing from here comes from the general fund,
Correct.
and nothing could be diverted into the general fund. The only thing I noticed was that the road repair number, we budgeted a lot last year. We didn't spend any of it, and then we didn't budget anything this year.
So the only thing we really, when we looked at this one, when Courtney and I looked at our numbers originally, was we looked at the definition and the usage for the cemetery care fund, and there's regulations that we can use, what we can and can't use for what, but it was what things operationally can be defined as operations for the cemetery, and those can be used for that. So some of the things where it was like, gas and oil and things like that. We tried to pull more out of the general fund and say that would be used from the cemetery care fund because that's directly for the operation of the cemetery. So those are the kind of things that we kind of adjusted that budget for. And kind of tried to modify those.
On road repair though, or,
The care camps is like one big pot.
yeah,
Really don't ever, unless I know I got a project coming up.
like the street repair the last few years.
Yeah.
That just kind of, so usually, I mean, it's still one big pot, even though,
so I guess my question would be, reducing that 60,000 is not gonna impact operations or the quality of service that people are gonna get out there? Families are gonna get?
no, not this year. I mean, like, we don't accumulate a whole lot from year to year. And so like the new sections that I'm trying to open, stuff like that would come out of here. But usually, you know, if I'd done a bigger project, and you wait a year or two to let it reaccumulate.
Okay.
But this year, I think we are gonna try to use it for operations.
So last year this says there was almost 26,000 used for cemetery fencing, or you're not foreseeing any large or
Now,
major
that was
expenses?
planned, you know, the
Okay.
fence and stuff.
Because we're budgeting a little bit less than what we spent last year, so I was just,
So that miscellaneous, if you see, that's where we pulled, that's gonna be those operational expenses that were used for the cemetery care fund that would have come out of the 60 that was brought across or the balance that was there. So
There's no road projects that were proposed next year that we're having to put on hold or anything right now?
No.
No, and I think to capacity, we're still good for quite a few more years.
Yeah, I'm still trying to work on getting them to remap the, you know, there were some issues with the last one I got, so I'm still working on that part, so.
Okay.
So when do you plan on actually hiring a surveyor to go out there and survey this?
I'm waiting on him, that's why he's known for a couple months now. I
Okay,
went
so
checked
you already got it
last-
lined up to get them
Yeah.
out there. And are they gonna do the whole thing or just a certain section?
Well, right now, that whole land south.
The whole west side
south
going north to
is
south?
going to be, sectioned out. Now, that doesn't mean that's what's going to be opened.
Right,
Like a section.
but you're gonna get it surveyed.
Right, yes.
And do you have an approximate cost and what it's gonna, approximate cost of it?
The survey, I think usually it's not, probably less than 1,000 or something. I mean, it's not a whole.
To survey that whole section?
Yeah, he's the one that surveyed most for the engineering deal. He already surveyed, but the engineering drew it up wrong and left some roads out, and so he's going back and he's supposed to revamp the,
And then we'll have to have the engineer redo it again too after they survey it?
I think so.
Okay. And am I reading this right, that last year's budget was 70,000 in this, and you only spent 25, and this year you're only getting budget 24, so somebody's taken about 50,000 away from you to put somewhere else, right?
As far as I know, it's all still there. Just
Yeah,
like I
that
said, it's
money
kind of just
stays
one
in
big
there.
pot.
And
And
there's $53,000 as of June 30th statements.
in the years past, like if I knew there was a project like the road repair, then I would,
I think
budget.
Terry's saying we're just budgeting 50,000 less than what you would have got
Right.
every other year.
So somewhere that 50,000 has gone somewhere else for this year's budget.
We can't send it anywhere else. We just didn't budget it, so that money's just sitting there.
Yeah, it's just there. Like I said, unless I say a certain project, then I'll classify so much.
Right, but I'm reading this that in last year's budget, it was $70,000. This year's budget of the 2024-25 budget, it's $24,000. So where's that 50 at?
In a holding.
Well, where's it at though? It's not on this paper anywhere.
No, because you haven't encumbered it. You're not doing projects with it.
Last year, we budgeted 60 for road repair specifically, and 10 for graveside right structure specifically. This year, the only thing we're budgeting is that 24,350. So the rest is there. It's just, that's what we're budgeting.
So why wouldn't it go to miscellaneous, just to show a record of it?
We don't have to budget every dollar, and you have record of it every single month on your financial statements with the account balances.
And Chase, what is the cemetery care fund has got certain guidelines to go by on it statutorily. What statutorily is the guidelines for that? Is it state law? Is it city ordinance?
It's state law.
There's state law on that.
Okay.
I don't know, can't recite it for you.
Do you know what title?
I think it's 11, I might get that for you pretty quick.
Okay. And you reviewed this and it's okay?
I didn't see any issues with it, no.
Okay. And Frank, you're good with it?
Yeah. Yeah, there's been many times I've gone years without using the care account, and then, like I said, when we done the first roads 3 or 4 years ago, I think at that time, had like near 100,000 in there because I hadn't used any of it. Usually that's kind of those worst case scenario type deals, or to help with the budget, like on projects instead of capital outlay, since it's for the cemetery. That's the one lucky part you have with that. But it can be used for operations. That's what it's set up for smaller cemeteries. So
that's 36, that's what it is. And this is, I don't know, I typed in perpetual care fund and it took me to some off website, I don't know.
It's titled
Okay.
Oklahoma Insurance Department, that's not what I want, but it talks about it in there that
It's Title 11, Section 26-101.
Courtney, what's the current balance of that?
53-something thousand.
Okay.
All right. Further discussion?
Where does our income come from that?
25% of every sale at the cemetery gets deposited into that, and the remaining 75% gets put into the general fund. State law requires us to deposit at least 10%, and we weighed the options between changing our 10% allocation to Fund 19 to 10% only and the remainder in general fund, but moving these expenses out to this helps our current budget. much better. So we can look at changing that next year. if
Right,
we'd
so-
like, But
By not budgeting the 70,000 that we did last year, we're able to free up 55-ish to stay in the general fund, is that what I'm?
no, by still leaving the 25% deposited into Fund 19, the general fund benefits this fiscal year with moving these expenditures to that instead of moving all but 10% to the general fund to be deposited.
Okay.
Because there's more money in there available.
Thanks, Frank.
Call for the vote?
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Item D, discussion and possible action regarding golf course budget Fund 41 for 24-25 fiscal year. A motion? Motion from Bashir,
Second.
second from Bradshaw. Discussion?
Yes, I noticed there's the 870,000 is the proposed, and what last year was 686. I see there's a lot extra in the capital outlay. I imagine that's for the paths and bridges and things that we've discussed.
Correct. So if you look at Fund 44, which is the capital outlay, it's on the next page. You'll see that we moved that from the golf capital outlay from 44 into his own account. That's all, that's what you're seeing there. So the capital outlay was moved over. And then what he's got there also is what he's had saved up to do the cart paths and the bridges. So all of that's just put into the budget there.
Can you say that again, please? I'm looking at that page, but I'm seeing that the golf says 0 for proposed budget for capital outlay.
Right. What was in 44, and we did this for the rec as well, we moved into their own account. So we took it from 44 and put it into 41. We just moved his capital outlay into the golf course 41 account.
Okay, on the golf course 41 account, what line, what number is that?
5411.
Okay.
Is all the income for this being sustained from the golf course itself? Or there's
no general fund compensation in this.
correct. Yeah, it all goes it gets brought to us, we deposit it all into the golf course's account numbers.
okay.
Call for vote?
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Item E, discussion possible action regarding capital outlay budget fund 44 for 24-25 fiscal year.
Motion.
Motion from Brown,
Second.
second from Bashir.
So we moved some money out of here and into other accounts, correct? But then our amount budgeted went up from what we budgeted last year. And I guess my question is our capital outlay money all comes from taxes, from sales tax percentage? Is that correct?
yes.
We're not diverting any money from general fund into capital outlay to fund any of those projects?
No, the only time money would go from general fund to capital outlay is if, like last year, we had some sort of error and we had to do a transfer. That's the only time that it's allowed.
Okay. And then one of them specifically that money moved out of was the animal shelter. But we've already encumbered funds on that, so do we need to budget for that?
So they had 2 accounts last year, and money was budgeted in one and not in the other, and then money was spent out of one, money was spent out of both of them. So I'll be able to actually zero out the 5448 and get rid of that one, but the exact same thing has happened this year again. So I think the easiest thing would be to leave it where it's budgeted at 40,000 and then do a transfer of that encumbrance on 5448 to the other account number. That way it's all in one line item.
To 5425?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, I know we have two other, there's another one that has two, which is the police department vehicles and the police department equipment. And are those gonna be used for the same thing, or are those separate? Are we buying $282,000 worth of equipment?
Some of that I believe is used for their like radios and stuff like that, and then the others vehicles just kind of separates it out.
Okay.
So if they buy a car, which would come out of vehicle capital outlay, then they have to outfit, is that gonna come then out of the equipment?
No, it all comes out of vehicles capital outlay.
So on those police capital outlay for vehicles, 275,000, the 4 Tahoes that we bought right at the end of the year, beginning of this year, is that coming out of that 200, is that
That's
to
what
pay
that-
for those
that's
275?
The last set of Tahoes the council approved, that's what that is.
They were approximately $80,000 piece, times 4, that's 320,000.
We leased. We leased those.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
we're paying a loan, yeah.
Right. Which we would only have to encumber the amount of the lease every year,
For
not
the
the entire
year.
amount of the purchase,
Year's
right?
worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those police vehicles are coming out of this, not from last year's.
Correct. Those will come out of this.
So if they were, like I said, 80 times 4 is 320,000, and there's 275 in there, where's,
You're encumbering
You're
the lease,
leasing them.
the lease agreement for the year, as
Okay.
opposed to the entire.
Which I think was.
okay, I got you.
4 or 5,000 a month, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
For something.
And Parks capital outlay, 110,000, what's that for, Frank?
Phase 2
Of the,
of the skate park, and we're going to try to
Vitalize, remodel some of the tennis court restrooms.
is there any plan, or has there been any talk about putting restrooms in Bobby Buck Park?
I hope not. Not with the city. There hasn't
We've
been.
had some civic groups have talked about it. Problem is it gets into expense real fast.
Bathrooms, you gotta understand, new shelter, toys, we repaint, we maintenance. Bathrooms could be 30 minutes to 2 hours a day.
Yep.
And Bobby Buck would probably be the 2 hours a day. I have a feeling of what, would go on over there. But, so, I mean,
But that's a park on the west side of Pryor that's used by people in the neighborhood, and they need bathrooms too. People want to go there and use it.
yeah,
It's kind of neglected for
yeah.
the west side.
I'm just gonna be quiet about Bobby Buck.
Okay, and thank you, Frank. And then 125,000 for the clerk, what's that for?
Mostly our server, and getting all of that stuff taken care of. I've got some other things with Cassell that I would like to purchase if we get the chance to, and then our maintenance and everything for all of our softwares.
So how much have we encumbered on that so far, on what we?
As of, this report won't show you that, but I don't remember off the top of my head exactly how much the server was.
It was like 15,000
15,000
and
and-
three
Yeah.
for,
The server was about 15,000
then there was another 3 for
installation, but from
about
Fed.
18. Very rough number, about 18.
So over the past year, you've had a lot of trouble with Cassell, so is that still a valid, good quality product that you want to continue with, or?
At this moment, I can't answer that question. Once the server is installed and I can rule that out as the option or the thing, then we'll see.
I know you had told me one time that downstairs, they use, MEB uses a whole different software system that you said was even a lot better, but it was a lot more expensive.
Yes, it is. It's quite expensive. But no matter what software I use, any startup cost is going to be quite expensive just to get everything going and all of the labor that it's going to take to have everything done on that, training and all that good stuff. So if it comes down to it and I need to change softwares, I might have the money in there to do that. It just really depends on the cost and all of the work that goes into it.
Have you ever put the pencil to see what it would cost to get the MEB's
No, I
Software
haven't
switch
requested a
over.
quote yet from them. I have looked at it a few different times and done a demo with them, but I have not requested them to give me a quote.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Harrod? You're getting a little bit of an increase this year. Do you have capital projects?
I do. So it breaks down to about $35,000 for AV equipment for the meeting rooms. Right now, they're just rooms. And that's based on an old quote that I got from, I went out and I was like, hey, how much? So at the time, he came back at about $25,000, but that was a couple of years ago, so I upped it. And then we need to repaint and kind of spruce up our north canopies because they are old and kind of gross. So that's $2,000. We need to replace our book drop, which is about $7,000. And then we need a couple of new large print shelving units, and that's about $4,000. So that's 48.
Okay.
And I will add that she really does need that audio-visual equipment for that meeting room. I thought it was a shame that the city didn't buy that when we built this new building. And well, she needs it. And that being said, is there a way that, since that is for the building and for that new construction project, that can come out of the bond money like we've done for the police department to pay for stuff, to free up our
Well,
capital for other
absolutely.
things?
Definitely something we can look at when we get that purchase in and see.
I would like us to
We've
really
done the same
consider
thing. Yeah,
that.
absolutely. And we had talked, I think we talked right as we all took office about that technology piece missing from that upgrade. And so it was definitely realized then, and so that's not a conversation that I'm opposed to having.
And the same thing, she said it was only $2,000. Those canopies need to be with that bond money too, instead of freeing it to free up her other money, because those canopies should have been included in the project of the new construction, because they're crappy, and they look like crap.
Just a side question on that, if the canopies weren't part of the building that was included in the remodel, were they on the part not remodeled?
So they got an upper, I don't even know.
They got a facelift facade.
So
No, they didn't even get that. It's the round thing that says Thomas J. Harrison Pryor Public.
That's what I'm calling the facade.
Yeah, but it's just like one, so,
cosmetic touch-up.
yeah, it was just sort of
Would that
right on
be
top.
something that we could entertain then? Using bond funds for that if it wasn't completed?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Like I said, it's not a conversation I'm afraid to have.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. If we can cover all of those things that should have been, then I think that's an appropriate place to do that. And there are excess revenues that come in on that, so absolutely, let's go look at that.
Cool.
Thank
All right, thanks.
All right. Call for the vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gantier,
Abstain.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar.
Yes.
Item F, discussion and possible action regarding real property acquisition reserve budget fund 46 for the 24-25 fiscal year.
Motion.
A motion from Choya,
Second.
second from Bradshaw.
So we're budgeting another 80,000 in the nuisance abatement count, or is that carryover funds?
Carryover.
Carryover,
But yes, we are budgeting 80,000 for that one.
but it's from carryover funds.
And Mayor, was the air conditioners for the Grand Community Building, did that come out of that too?
Yes, they did come out of that 5450 account, so that'll be reduced once that's all settled and done.
Which, so that will knock the nuisance abatement down to what? After the air conditioners are taken out?
There's 33 out of it, 100 out already, and those were 50-ish?
Let's say they were 56, I think, it takes us down to about 30,000.
It'll knock it down to 30,000?
Yes, and in talking with Tim Mills, who's our nuisance abatement officer, he's confident that that's sufficient for what he needs in order to do his.
And what comes out of that nuisance abatement fund? What's that used for?
So if we have to abate a house, let's say, or a property, or if we're having to go in and mow something for somebody because the nuisance abatement process has put us there, then that's the account that's typically paid out of. And then whenever their lien is assessed, all of that's put on theirs to, to be recouped from whatever they owe. But, we so far been pretty well blessed, especially with Mr. Mills and the things that we've done in the past, that a lot of times working with the homeowners, the property owners, that they'll take care of those things without us having to do. I'd say out of all of them that we've done, we've only really had to pay for a handful of them. I'd say probably less than 10. Now, things like mowing and stuff, that's a little different story. There's times we have to go in and mow, and we've got one in particular now that we just put in for a summary abatement, which means we hit them up to mow it. They mowed it, but we have to go back and mow it again because they haven't mowed it. And so, given the time frame, I think it's 6 months on the summary abatement. So within the 6 months, we can go back and send them back out to do it. It was one that we had to bid out, and because we bid that, we went back with the person who bid that originally.
Is that the one that I did the PO tonight for $500?
I think the amount of that one was a lot. The one that I'm talking about was more. The original bid was 1,000. So it could be. I'd have to look at the address on the one that you did.
Okay.
Compare, but that's
And
what comes out of there.
when we recoup the money from the lien, does that go back into that nuisance abatement account, or does that go into the general fund for other purposes?
No, it's deposited back where it's expended from.
Does do cleanup or the dilapidated properties that we've had to clean up in the last year, does that come out of that account?
Yes. So that's when we talk about the things that have made it into that nuisance abatement hearings and whatnot. If the city has to encumber the funds of the cleanup, then that's where it comes out of.
Is Chase having to assist with any of these?
No,
I want to bill it to that account if you are having to take it out of there.
Fair.
There's been a couple calls I've gotten. When I first came in, I went in maybe the first month or two of meetings just to make sure it was going well, and then I stopped going unless there's an issue with calling.
Well, particularly if we place a lien on somebody and he's had to intervene, I would just assume recoup our costs that way. I don't.
I think you put it in there.
It's a good idea. Thank you.
And so we spent 21-ish last year, and we're gonna have 30-ish left.
Yes, yeah. I mean, like I said, the blessing that we've had in this process in the past, we'll just say the past 5 years, is that a lot of the property owners have been able to take care of that on their own, or they get to, if they can't afford it, a lot of times somebody, I'll just say somebody in the area will step up and offer to buy the property out from underneath them. And a lot of times we'll work with those individuals that, if you're gonna buy a property, get it cleaned up and we'll take care of it. That's really ultimately what we want, because we want the nuisance abated. And so, been able to work with everybody in those aspects to keep that cost down for the city, but also make tremendous strides in cleaning up properties throughout town. There's always gonna be that one where they say the Mrs. Kravitz are always gonna find that one that we've missed or we haven't got to yet. But it's been a pretty fluid process to this point, so. And they handle, I think, anywhere from, 6 to 10 a month is what they're addressing on that. So some of those are repeats, but for the most part, Mr. Mills has done a fabulous job. And I even had a conversation with him today about it, so he's doing a great job, and we just want to give him an attaboy for working with people on that.
You said his contract labor comes out of that account?
No, Mr. Mills is actually paid out of my account.
Okay.
My managerial, it's $600 a year.
Okay.
So we just moved that over.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Okay. Item G, discussion and possible action regarding recreation budget, Fund 84, for the 24-25 fiscal year.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion from Brashear and a second from Shropshire. Discussion?
Notice there aren't, there's little change relative compared to the other accounts, outside of a slight increase though.
The rec center is funded from tax or membership fees and everything's correct? Nothing
Yes,
from the
All
general
of the
fund?
above.
Yeah, there are.
They get a portion of the sales tax. And then they generate interest from a CD that they have that gets deposited every month, plus all of their revenue from the rec center itself.
Nothing general fund related though?
Nothing.
Did I hear Mr. Moore correctly when he gave his little report that his air conditioner still is gonna cost another $100,000? I thought I heard him say 100,000 is still yet to come.
We
So
below that, and that,
is that part of his capital outlay down here?
yes, that's all part of that original cost that we had talked about a couple months ago. And the idea of that was, the intent was to pay out a percent at the time that the bid was accepted, and then to pay the rest upon completion. And so, that's pretty common. The rec is holding that money for that. They've got it budgeted. They've also got funds in their reserve and in their cash accounts for what they need, so. That's still budgeted in there.
Courtney, you wanna go over the child watch salaries also?
Sure. There wasn't any salaries budgeted in child support, which is on the next page. So we put it in there before it was presented to the budget committee so that it could be approved.
Right, I just wanted to make sure that everybody saw that was zero, that it was actually put in there.
Yep.
Any further? Call for the vote.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Discussion and possible action regarding Pryor Public Works Authority Budget Fund 88 for the 24-25 fiscal year. A motion?
Motion.
I'll second.
A motion from Gantier and a second from Brashear. Discussion?
Yes. So what's the purpose of this account, and why did we spend over $1 million in it last year, but we budgeted zero for this year? And what's the purpose of the account? What's it used for?
So Fund 87, which is the PPWA sinking fund, we have to keep that for, obviously, our debts. But Fund 88, to my knowledge and research, there's no legal reason why we have to have that. This money was just always budgeted in there and expensed from there, so we moved what we could to general fund and left what we felt was appropriate for this fiscal year in there.
So has there ever been discussion about dissolving the PPWA, or is that not possible?
I think this account is possible. However, we'd already approved that $4,000 to Grand Gateway prior to the budget being approved. So for this fiscal year, it's not possible since we have expenditures coming out.
So that means we're gonna keep having a meeting after the end of every meeting that talks about nothing?
PPWA, we still have to have that, yes. But
Okay.
for this specific Fund 88 account is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about the sinking fund.
Flip the page over.
Yeah, next page is 88.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sinking fund is what I was asking about.
Yeah, do we not have to vote on that?
We didn't budget
Even if we
anything for
budget,
it, so.
even if it's budgeted at zero?
This is my favorite phrase, and I'm sure you guys have all collectively heard it from me, but this is how we've always done it. It was never budgeted, and there was always expenditures out of it, so I have no answer for you currently.
Chase got a input on that?
I do know that Fund 87 is for, it's our sinking funds, that's for our debts. And that's why we have to have the Public Works Authority, because we're not technically allowed to have debt. We have to have it through the trust.
Yeah, my question is, what's the purpose of the sinking fund?
Yeah.
I can check on that though. We're weird because of MUP. MUP kind of throws all of our PWA stuff off, but we still have to follow this.
Right.
Which is why at the end of each meeting, we have a meeting that really different. I think part of that is a requirement to have a sinking fund. I can look into that if you want me to.
So would it be prudent just to put this one off until you look at it?
Well, that's not on the agenda. Fund 88 is on the agenda.
Yeah. We're talking about 87, you're on 88.
Which, 87?
I guess I'm
gonna be
throwing everybody off. My question was just about 87, the sinking fund, not the PWA
That's
profit.
why I'm talking about approving that until we figure out what you got going on, in case we want to change it.
A couple issues. Your agenda doesn't address 87, it only does 88.
Okay.
To answer the question, I think you have to have, what you have is 87 as a sinking fund under statute.
This is where we pay all of our bond payments out of to
Right.
the OK Financial.
Which we would know what those are. I mean, we could budget those amounts and knowing that the bond's gonna pay for,
Right.
the bonded
But
money
they've
is gonna
never
pay
done
for it.
before, So we definitely can, but it hasn't been done yet.
Okay, so my question is, why was last year, again, we spent over $1 million, but this year it's all zero? Why, we don't have expenses, or they were moved to the general fund?
Like I said, this is how we've always done it. They've
Okay.
never budgeted numbers in there. They just had expenses.
Okay,
And I think that's based on the revenues that come in from the bond dollars, and that's where that was at. And since there was no, I mean, we can ballpark pretty close what that's gonna be, but for the most part, it's kind of a guess either way.
Anyway, Fund 88 is our agenda item.
Yeah.
yes.
All right.
Thank you. I'm sorry I digressed into another abyss there.
It's all right, Terry, we still love you. We're not judging.
Okay,
But we are gonna call for the vote.
certainly.
Okay, Brown,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers.
Yes. Although we might need to look into if we actually have to.
I've got a
Vote
vote
on
on that, and we're good. Item I, discussion and possible action regarding E911 budget, Fund 91 for 24-25 fiscal year.
So move.
A motion from Lamar
Second.
and a second from Brown. Discussion?
This comes from the 911 tax that's on everybody's cell phone bill, right? Or landline bill, I guess, for
Landline.
Pryor.
That's correct.
Yeah, the city or the county gets the cell phone.
Yep, they get
Yeah.
cell phones and landlines. We only have landlines.
Okay. So it's funded through that as well?
Yeah, and we don't typically have expenditures that come out of that. It's very few and far between.
I think if we did, it would be, I think when I talked to Johnny last time, it would be, if there was something broken there, then those funds would be available for us to use if needed, but very, very seldom, or seldom is that even. Call for the vote?
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Item J, discussion and possible action regarding Economic Development Trust Authority Budget Fund 98 for 24-25 fiscal year.
So move.
Got a
Second.
motion from Gantier, second from Bashir.
The only question I had is, I know Main Street's listed on here, but it's with $0, and I think, is that, any money that's going to Main Street is going through EDTA? Is that?
That would be, the money we allocate goes to the EDTA. If the EDTA does that, then that's using their
Okay,
allocation of that, so.
so that, the 50,000 miscellaneous is for
It's for
their discretion?
EDTA, yep.
Okay.
Any further? Call for the vote?
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
All right. City Attorney's Report. Can you make your motion if you don't mind? Consider waiving the reading.
I want to hear you read it.
you wanna hear it, man, go right ahead, but just whatever.
The one who makes that motion has to be the one to read it, is that protocol?
Listen, let's go on with item A. Discussion and possible action regarding a resolution changing and amending zoning classification from AG agricultural to CAR commercial automotive recreation of the property described as follows.
So move with waiving of the reading included.
Okay, got a motion?
I'll second that for you.
Motion from Gantier. Second from Brashear.
This is our first reading.
We actually got really excited to learn that it doesn't have to be an ordinance, it can be a resolution. So we don't have to have a first and second reading, which is fantastic.
So this could be the end of this one?
Yep, just a resolution, and then once, so with an ordinance, it has to go, it has to be posted in the newspaper, and then it's 30 days after that before it becomes effective. Once you guys approve this, it's in effect.
Okay.
This is for
You still get the notice and everything to the neighbors, though, right?
Yeah, that's all done before, before this process.
This is for the TC4 Graham Street LLC property. And they're actually here. I'll invite them up if you guys have any questions, since this is.
My name's Aaron Poe.
Did we get a motion in a second?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
My name's Aaron Poe, one of the two general partners, the owners of TC4 Graham Street.
And I'm Christy Mullen, the other partner.
And do want to apologize, we should have been here before today.
Could you speak a little louder
Sure,
towards the microphone so that the
Sure.
listening audience?
We just get some complaints sometimes that
Yeah, we
are
should have
valid.
been, we should have been here before today. So we apologize for that. So, but we're here today to answer any questions you have on this project.
Aren't you from out of state, though?
I am, sir.
That's what I thought. What, South Carolina?
I'm from Southeast Ohio originally, but I live in Virginia.
Oh, Virginia. Okay, you're out of Virginia. Okay. I knew it was a ways off.
Yep.
Thank you for taking time to come to the meeting.
Just landed and met me here,
Yes,
so.
yeah.
The main question that I have is, and I'm not as familiar 100% with storage laws. I know that's a whole nother thing. But what are the sales tax potential for, like, what do you charge on sales tax for open air? I've heard rumors that some things do charge sales tax on storage and other things are not.
Well, we haven't reached out, but been with Mays County, and we have been told there is no sales tax, but we haven't had an official. We have to present a plan. This is what we're going.
Okay.
But as of now, I don't believe there are sales tax, other than the tax would be just.
Yeah, I was like, unless you sold boxes or locks.
Correct. Oh, the locks have been.
I think right now we're just definitely just talking about the rezoning from ag to car.
Oh, yeah.
With, I'm gonna say with the assumption that we don't know what's going on in there. The idea is this is to discuss the rezoning, not the end result of whatever you decide to put there.
Okay.
And to clarify, the rezoning has already been approved, you guys are just approving the document that makes it official.
Okay. Thank you guys for coming up.
Cool. Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
All right, no further, then we will call for the vote.
And welcome to the business end of the community.
Like, actually, we've been the owners of, we own the apartments over on 232 South Indianola since 2019. So this will be our second investment here in the city.
Well, thank you.
Nice.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
We love Pryor.
We do.
All right, call for the vote.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Brashears,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for waiting all this time.
I've learned a lot about Pryor. Thank you, guys.
Item B, discussion and possible action regarding a resolution pertaining to changing and amending zoning classification from AG agricultural to RM residential multifamily of the property described as follows.
So moved, including the waiving of the reading.
Second.
Okay, got a motion from Gantier as stated with waiving the reading, and a second from Shropshire. Discussion. Call for the vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Brashears,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 7, committee reports, budget personnel.
The 10th.
Okay.
Hopefully we're working on the budget that time.
Ordinance insurance.
I don't know of anything scheduled at this time.
I'm still requesting a special.
Okay, get with me on that.
I would like to ask a question to the chair of the ordinance committee
Yes, sir.
pertaining to your next meeting.
Yes, sir.
A couple meetings ago, you all discussed the change in the ordinance about bidding procedures. What's this, are y'all still working at, or are you still considering that in the next meeting?
I believe the attorney was looking into drafting.
That's all.
One has been drafted, I think I sent it to Mr. Brown, and he's
Okay,
working.
I've been working on it.
After that.
thank you.
Street and maintenance.
Scheduled for Tuesday, the 24th.
Thank you. I don't have any unforeseeable. Do we need to?
The only
Not Friday.
thing, yes, so the only thing I would say is you guys approved it under the consent agenda, but we are now going to be closed all day Friday to the public. My employees will be up here working on projects, and we are very, very, very excited about that. We planned a little potluck thing too. But anyway, so we will be closed to the public on Friday for the Bluegrass and Chili Festival.
And I believe MUB will be as well.
Yeah.
I've got one, Pryor got hit with 2 lawsuits last week. We'll do an executive session at the next one, I'll have everybody updated, but just so you guys know that they've been filed against Pryor.
And the status of one that was just closed.
Yeah, that'll be in the executive as well.
Okay, thank you.
Did we file against anybody?
Do we what?
Did we file any lawsuits against anybody?
If you guys want to, let me know.
Sounds like we're 0-2.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
So move.
Second.
I've got a motion from Lamar and a second from Gantier to adjourn. Call for the vote.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Okay, we will, also I only, just for reference, I only have 4 of you signed in on tonight's meeting, so make sure you
Ooh,
sign
you
in.
should do that if you want paid.
Call to order the Pryor Public Works meeting. Item 2, approved minutes of the August 20th, 24 meeting.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion from Gantier and a second from Bashir. Call for the vote.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Okay. We don't
I'm
have-
not done.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Is this one that you were needing to abstain from, Shropshire, or no?
You needed to abstain.
That
from
was on the
Just the special.
13th.
Okay.
13.
All right, Bradshaw,
Yes.
thank you.
I have a question on unforeseeable,
Yes.
and I probably should have asked it when we approved the PPWA, but does their budget not need approved in this?
I guess technically that would be the Fund 87 and
87 should be.
87 for sure.
88 probably should be as well.
Yeah, it just depends on, yeah.
So since the city gives them the funds, perhaps
That's
the city's, the first step should have been us approving it, but maybe next time we need to put it in here.
I want to look at it some more, since
Yeah, let's
since we're
take a look.
allocating the funds there. I feel like it's okay to be in the rest of it, but Fund 87 absolutely should be in this.
Okay. Sorry.
Good question. Appreciate that. Item 4, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Who wasn't back?
2 yeses is not a,
I move.
You said, do we have a motion? I said, yes.
all right. We got a motion from Bashir and a second from Gantier. Call for the vote.
Brown,
Yes.
Gantier,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Just so you guys know, everybody can hear you guys rustling around with the microphones because they're on the desk, so. Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Nina's here in person for you. She heard us all.
How was your trip from Colorado?
sir, if we pass.
Thanks very much. Yes, sir. Thank you.